Yeah, Coach, just you get the chance to host again. How important is that, and having a chance to, I guess, have another go at it after the last year?
Yeah, I think it's we're excited about it. Only 16 teams get this opportunity, this privilege. You still got to compete against some good teams. We're comfortable playing at home, but we don't want to get too comfortable knowing we still have to play very, very well. Colgate's a team we have some familiarity with, played in the first weekend at Duke, and it's not going to overwhelm them. This is our fourth straight NCAA tournament, and Coach Ryan's done a great job there. So there's two other quality teams as well, but we'll certainly have all our attention focused on Colgate and be ready to go.
Ray, that's 2 years in a row, right, where you played someone in round one that you had played earlier in the season? Is that rare, or does that happen?
I don't think it probably happens all that much. Omaha last year, we played them first weekend as well, and they were a regional team. I was a little surprised to see Colgate come this way with, when the bracket with Wichita State and Missouri came up, I thought, okay, that might be us, but they're sending them elsewhere, which is fine. But yeah, even though it seems like a long time ago, we're a very different team and they're a very different team. So we'll do a thorough scout and we'll be ready to go. We'll have a good week of prep, I'm sure.
You've got so many veterans who've played at this stage, obviously hosted last year too. I wonder what their role for the younger girls is, teaching them about what this week's going to be like, how it's going to feel, all of those things, because you do have quite a few young players that factor in too.
Yeah, actually this morning before we started practice, we had a discussion about that. We told the newcomers, the younger players, that hey, there's some experience to lean on if you want to kind of have a good game plan for how to manage this week. We'll try to keep our routine as consistent as possible, but it's different, feels different, and the first serve will feel different. NCAA tournament always does. So, yeah, you're right when you look at the Cameron Turners and London Davis and the Beans and the Ayas. They played this as their fourth straight trip, so I think they would have a lot of good advice that they could share with somebody who's maybe experienced it for the first time.
And you speaking of different, does it feel different? Did you sense it feels different to that group, that senior group that made it such a mission last year to host, and then this year, did it again, but also unfinished business or whatever you want to call it? Do you sense a different feeling from that group?
I think we're excited to host. I don't think it has quite the allure it had last year since we hadn't hosted in a few years. Now I think it's more about how can we get out of first weekend, how can we put a good effort together on Friday, and if we're fortunate enough to move to Saturday, create an opportunity there to play up to our seed.
Coach, you mentioned the Caroline Biens, the Cameron Turners, just this senior class that has been there 1, 2, 3, and 4 of their 4 years at KU. Can you just talk a little bit about what that group has meant to this program and just putting you guys to be in this spot year after year?
Yeah, we have we have a mix of kind of local talent, and then Cairo, Egypt isn't that local, but Houston. But then you look at Topeka and Overland Park and Platte City, Missouri, and I think there's a connection, a local regional connection, but also over time when players in your program for that long, I think your fan base adopts them. There's the affection that they kind of grow together in their journeys here, and I think that's pretty cool to see, and certainly the senior classes provide that. And Toy's only been here 2 years, but she kind of seems like she's been here longer than that. So they are going to find the place much better, or leave the place much better than they found it in many ways. And I think that's a true testament to the type of people they are and all they've provided for Kansas volleyball. And they've all had a very important role statistically, how they teammated and what kind of ambassadors they've been for our program. So proud of the group, and I know they'd like to extend this season as far as possible because we enjoy getting together and spending time together, training together, and competing together.
Yeah. Ray, are there any moments over the course of the season that reinforced your belief that you'd be able to host this weekend?
7 out of the 10 teams we played in our pre-conference are in the NCAA tournament. Purdue, Creighton, Marquette, Western Michigan, Colgate, Wichita State. I'm probably leaving somebody out, but I think us structuring that type of non-conference schedule and playing those type of folks. Many of those teams are seeded as well. So I think that led us into a competitive confidence into our league, which is a very good league. So we've seen all styles. We've seen a lot of different teams from a lot of different regions. So in my mind, it's prepared us well for what lies ahead.
At least in terms of wins and losses, the last few weeks presented a bit more adversity to your team in the earlier part of the season. I guess just how do you feel like some of these recent experiences helped you guys develop?
Yeah, the Arizona trip where we lost a couple really, really difficult matches, a lot of teams might have had a really long-lasting effect. That got us refocused. You know, we come back and play 2 ranked teams the next week at home and did well. Still trying to figure out what happened on our senior night. It looked like emotionally we were a little sped up, which can be typical of a large senior class, but you know, BYU's a good volleyball team as well. So some of those matches, if they come at the wrong time, can be pretty fatal, but I think it's given us time to rebound. You know, we played a good Iowa State team on their home floor, always a tough place to win, and found a way to do that, and I think there's some good momentum going into this week.
Ray, when you think back to recruiting Cam and NBN and those local girls, did you make the NCAA tournament part of that? Was that a conversation that you guys had as far as it could be done and things like that?
Yeah, I just think it's a big piece of what we're trying to do. Obviously, one of our goals this year was to be a Big 12 champion, and we fell a match short of that. You know, a win at Arizona State would have got us a piece of that, but not only being involved in the NCAA tournament, but making a deep run into the NCAA tournament. And you know, 64 teams first weekend, but if you could play well through the first weekend, you get down to that Sweet 16, then anything can happen. But yeah, those BN made it from a local perspective, made it cool to come to Kansas. She had a lot of other opportunities. Cam Turner might tell you she had opportunities, but she didn't. We were the only opportunity she had, Division I, thank goodness. But yeah, they've created I think a great opportunity for us to get exposure not only regionally but nationally.
I don't know if 2015 seems like a long time ago or a short time ago, but will you lean on some of those past players that had a big run to the Final Four that year? Obviously, you got one on staff, but any others that might have a factor this week or play a role this week?
I don't know if they're going to let Payne suit up or not. That'd be fun. But, yeah, Kelsey's up there in Omaha now getting ready for her professional, and with Cooper and some others. So I know there's an active Facebook account where the alumni talk a lot and share information and share opportunities to support each other. So I know that's ongoing.